I got a phone call saying, did I want to go up for a series called Jam Busters? And I thought, no, I can't believe this. They're going to put us in a thing about jam. And then I read the first two episodes.
It's because it was based on the novel, and the novel was about the WI, wasn't it?
It's not a novel. It's a historical
book. Yeah.
And then when you discover more about the WI, who, of course, celebrated their 100th birthday yesterday.
God love them. They made a cake that the Queen couldn't get a knife out of.
That's a good fruit cake.
Is that a good thing? Oh, OK.
But the point about the WI is, in the war, is that they were referred to from government because they had the grassroots knowledge.
Yeah.
So evacuees, for example, you went to the WI and said what house would be suitable.
Yeah.
When we're pulling up railings, which happened a couple of weeks ago, they knew where the railings were. When you're trying to find a plot of land to grow vegetables on, you went to the WI and asked them. So that side of the story is true and wonderful and great and to be celebrated.
Yeah.
And then what Simon Block's done in the series is, using the WI as a framework, you get to meet all these incredible women. We've got 9 leading women.
Yes! And what, you know what I thought when I watched it is it's an antidote to Dad's army. For years, we've had the army as seen through all these middle-aged men.
Yeah.
Like, what were the women doing?
Yeah.
And now...
Well, that's the extraordinary thing as well about putting it in that time period.
Yes.
Is that you meet initially one community. That community then has the men pulled out of it, and it has to protect itself somehow. And at the beginning of the series, my character, Francis, is fighting with Francesca Amis, because Francesca thinks it should be closed for the war, that it's inappropriate. And Francis knows just how important it's going to be for them.
I think what's interesting as well is a lot of the women that, obviously, that were involved at the time, and your characters, they will have remembered the horrors of the First World War. So they knew how important this was.
Absolutely. And all the women are of an age where they would have been... The memories of the First World War will be very, very vibrant.
Yes.
So when the First World War starts and everyone's a bit gung-ho and let's go off and we can do this, the women know and remember. And this thing of the loss, that every one of them will have lost someone.
Yes.
And that's hugely
it's also,
poignant.
in the Second World War, I always remember my mother, telling me that the relationships between women, the women left behind, were incredibly strong. I think, and they forged lifelong friendships. My mother made her best friend ever during the war, and they were with each other until one of them died, all the time. It really, really close bonds without the men.
There's an extraordinary moment that I think probably is in Sunday's episode, when Francis is taught to shoot. And the premise is that, if you learn to shoot, you can shoot rabbits and you can eat rabbits. But there's a very poignant moment when she says, if we get invaded, I'm the last line. And she's got Thumbs, who works for her, and Cookie, who you saw. And then, of course, the evacuee comes to stay. My husband works away. He's in a factory. And if the Germans come, that gun's going to save everyone's life. And it's
so poignant.
Yeah. You go, oh, things that we don't think about.
No, obviously, we touched on the fact that you have such an acerbic line, I would say, your character does. I would say that you're almost the Maggie Smith of this. and I say that in a loving way.
Years of playing her daughter have
obviously, Downton is coming to an end. That must be an incredibly mixed bag of emotions for you all.
Yes, it is. We're shooting at the moment, and there's sort of is it demob happy feeling.